Hey guys, welcome to my video, and I'll be sharing 5 tips that you should make as a beginner in Summoner's War. I'm still quite new to this game, so I'll be sharing the tips that I believe that you should make, but you shouldn't believe everything I say. So first tip that I have is that you should try to build one monster or team at a time. This is because making teams take a very long time, and even just making one monster takes an extremely long time. So you should just try to build one team at a time, or at least just one monster. You should also try to make the best monsters in your team, such as your attack and support. They are the most important and they can be used as long as you have the best runes or they work well in a team. So the first character I recommend is Lapis because of her many AoE attacks, especially her basic attack and her third skill, because you do a lot of damage. You should build her with a lot of attack, and she's kind of slow, so you should also build some speed. I put Revenge and Vampire, which is the most popular set to use, because her AoE basic skill is very useful, and she's very solid. And also, she's a free character you can get from the new user event. The next character I recommend is the Fire Inugami, or Rauk, because while he may be only a 3-star, he still does amazing damage, and he's great in the arena and farming. He has his passive, which gives him an extra turn every time he kills an enemy, and with his very high damage output, that should be done easily. I have Fatal Blade as my rune set because he does a lot of damage and he needs the crit to do even extra damage. And he has a Second Awakening, which is very OP, and he looks sick as heck. So you should definitely build him. I believe that almost all the Inugamis are good, but I recommend Rauk as your first one. Okay, for this one's really important. Lulu, the Water Howl, is so good. He's one of the best healers in the game and is so easy to build. Mostly, I would say you should build him with mostly speed and health, since he doesn't really need anything for his healing. His skills, since he's a 2-star, are very easy to upgrade, and they are so OP with them doing an AoE heal and having immunity and removing debuffs, which are really useful. As you can see, I am using Violet Blade, as the extra turn is really useful, but the blade part doesn't really matter because I just needed an extra rune for useful purposes. This one is very important as well. The Water Magic Witch, also known as Megan, is very useful buffer, and she can also remove debuffs and grant immunity, just like Howl. You should build her with a lot of speed, but I have not maxed her out yet because I recently just started building her, but she is really good in almost everything. I believe that you don't need to really Second Awaken her, because the only skills that upgrade are her first and second ones, her basic and second skill, which aren't very important to her kit. It's mostly her buffing, which is very good. So the runes I'm using for her are Swift Energy, but you should probably use Focus because of her continuous damage, which is good for some teams. An extra healer you can also use is Fran, because she is amazing, especially in the arena, because of her heals, which are based on her attack power. So you should try to build her with speed and some attack, so her heals are even better. Her immunity is really good. I don't have her built right now because I'm really focusing on Lulu because he's really good, but if you have her, you should try to max her out because she's just as good as him. You should probably build her with like Swift Energy, but she is really good. Okay, tip number 2 is that you should always save onto every monster you get, basically. Mostly, you don't need to keep the power-up monsters, like the silver stars, because they're just used for food mostly. But you should really try to keep the 3 stars, because some of them are just as good as some 5 stars. Usually they're even better, but you should always keep them. So one of my favorite is Lucian. He's really OP. He does so much damage. I used him as food previously, and because I was a beginner and I did not understand that he was that good, but you should definitely look out for him. He's one of the best DPS, and I'll show you his skills. He has an AoE third skill, which is basically what he needs. So here's the skill. This skill is able to ignore defense, which is really OP because you can do so much damage. So you should probably build him with some attack, but I haven't built him like at all yet. So you should definitely look up some builds online. Also, guys, remember this. This is fully my opinion, but you should definitely try to build some of these guys because I think they're really good. But don't take everything I take as fact because I'm still really new to this game, and you probably are as well. Or you're just watching this because you're really good and you just want to see some tips that people have. But really, these are some tips that I believe are good. But if you don't like them, you can look up online. But I'm still trying to learn, so you can try to learn with me. If you have any comments about questions, or you really just like my content, please comment and subscribe and like, because that would be very helpful as I grow my channel. Okay, back to the video. No more promotions. I just want to say, for tip number 3, you should always farm for awakening materials, because awakens can like totally change a character, as they're very important. And you should also focus on going for second awakens, because just like I said, talk about Rauk, he has a really good skill, even not just first awakening, but you should really go for the second awakening. It increases his attack, he teams up with more allies when he uses his second skill, and he's just really good, so you should just do that. But like I said, this is just my opinion, you guys don't even have to listen to me. This is just, I'm just want to say what I think, and if anything's wrong, please comment it, because I need to improve just like you guys. And if you didn't know, you could get Second Awakening XP after you unlock the Dimension Hole, after you complete the whole part of the normal difficulty campaign. And there's different bosses, there's a new type of energy. I'll show you. Like, I'm farming for Hal right now, Second Awakening. And his Second Awakening, I think it's pretty good. Doesn't look as cool as others, but you should definitely farm there. And you have to go to that specific dungeon, or whatever it's called, to get that specific XP for that character. And to Second Awaken, you also need to have all the skills maxed out, so try to farm for some characters, because they're only 2 and 3 stars, so you should really try to do that. And if you guys didn't know, you can get a free 2-star Water Howl in the new user event, which is very helpful. You don't have to farm for him at all. You have to look at the strategy info for the dragon boss, I'm pretty sure, but it's really easy to get, so you should definitely do that, because he is amazing. You guys should really try to use him. I don't think he's the best at endgame, but at the beginning is really good. So that was my supposedly 5 tips, but I kind of turned it to 3 tips. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please subscribe and like I said before, and I hope you just have a good day. Goodbye.